A wrong step by a leader is a warning to the followers. And a Malawian proverb said, "He who thinks he's leading but has no one following is only taking a walk." Hi everyone, you're welcome to my platform. I'm Undefined Goals, and on today's episode we're going to talk about the 5 challenges to African leadership. In 1960, the then United Nations Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld toured 24 African countries and met with some of the African leaders. And then he had this to say: "I found the present African leaders to be of high seriousness, devotion, and intelligence. I'm sure in their hands, those African countries will go to a happy future." Has it happened yet? The truth is, politics controls the economies of a nation. If you are very observant, you'd have noticed that the difference between a developed nation and a developing nation is in their political evolution. While developed nations have political and economic systems that are inclusive and create ways for creation and generation of wealth, those in the developing economies like in Africa are rather extractive. The ruling class have stronghold on the political space in Africa, and as such they're able to channel the economic resources for their own self-interest. And this is the discussion I want us to have today. The biggest challenge for Africa's development is in the leadership culture prevalent in Africa. African leaders don't serve, they are served. The leadership culture in Africa is such that when you win and then you get up there, that is when you learn what it means to be a leader. And this is why Africa is like this. We have had different leaders for the past 60 years with the same results. The leadership culture here makes the leader superior to the citizens and also makes them unaccountable to the citizens. And they use that power to pauperize the citizens and make the people dependent. This is the number one problem of Africa. The second one is undefined goals. Most African leaders don't have a defined goal, and those who do don't abide by it. But let me tell you about one great African leader that had a defined goal and accomplished it. Nelson Mandela had the goal to fight and abolish apartheid in South Africa. And when he did, he served as the president of South Africa for just one term. How many African leaders will do that today? It is as if most African leaders would rather be consumed by power than to resign, because they don't have any defined goal for the country. The third one is corruption. In 1957, the first president of Ghana cited corruption as a vice that could harm millions of Africans struggling for freedom and justice. And he was right. Today, corruption is everywhere in Africa. It is the major cause of poverty and conflict. In fact, corruption has moved from accepting bribes to now a state of mind and even a way of life. African leaders are so corrupt that they have now made politics the shortest way to become rich. Politics is no longer a call to serve, but a call to be served. The fourth issue or challenges is the word power. Have you ever thought about where bad African leaders touch the stolen funds? They are kept in the UK and other developed countries. And as long as Africa's mineral wealth flees to developed countries to secure their economic interest, the world powers and the African development partners will always turn a blind eyes to bad governance and corruption in Africa. The fifth reason of the challenges of leadership in Africa is nepotism. Nepotism is killing Africa. Family values, ethnicity, religion, and tribalism are all factors that fuel nepotism in Africa. And unfortunately, African leaders have not been able to tackle the issue head on. It is common in every African country, especially in the civil service, to find departments full of people from the tribe of the head of the civil service. And most times, their only qualification is just being from a particular tribe. And a country where nepotism thrives cannot make progress. The African continent is not poor. It is the looting and mismanagement of our resources that keeps Africa poor. And the principal culprits of these are our African leaders. The politics of greed has kept most African economies on a hanging scale between poverty and underdevelopment. Today's episode will be incomplete without talking about ECOWAS. ECOWAS is a regional integration organization that foresees the activities of all West African countries. It has to work as a harmonization agent that will collaborate and create a kind of regional integration that will create a conducive environment for trade between West African countries. But today, first, air tickets between ECOWAS countries are even very expensive. The transportation between countries in Africa are a kind of nightmare, and to cap it up, ECOWAS has failed. The last but not the least, let me tell you a story about Dubai. Dubai is a smaller nation with less mineral resources than most countries in Africa. But today, Dubai is the envy of the world due to her rapid pace of development in all aspects. And what is the secret? Good leadership and containment of corruption. I end today's topic by saying this. Leadership in Africa is mostly poor, and there's no real answer to ending poverty in Africa. And the reason is not far-fetched. The ruling class continue to hijack the collective interest of the people and the entire well-being for their self-interest. But one day, the chicken will come home to roost. Thank you for spending so much time watching. If you have any reservation, kindly drop in the comment section. Kindly like, share, and subscribe. Catch you up next week. Bye.